Talk of the town, see. Five.
Yeah, they
Five already.
back in person.
Here we are with our first guest, the only man whose real name is his nickname. Keith Rankin, here with us. Keith, we are pleasure to be here. We're glad to have you here. But let's just jump straight into it. The state of the NFC East got even worse somehow this week. The Eagles look pitiful versus the Giants. The Giants got their own problems now, and the coaching staff. So I'm just here, to start it off. What are your thoughts on, just like really like the state of that, just that group of teams?
I think we stood our best for the first.
To be honest, I'm an Eagles fan, but I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all. I think this should be the first year they say no team in the NFC East makes the playoffs. That division is just bad. Like, because even the Giants, even though they beat the Eagles, next week we're gonna see they're still the New York Giants. I think Cincinnati's gonna take care of the Giants easy.
Oh yeah, I do too. Especially coming off a bad week.
That's what I'm saying. Joe Burrow, they the Redskins, they looked alright against Detroit and they late coming back, but the Redskins, of course, they suck. Alex Smith with 2 late turnovers again. He
had 400 yards up?
Yeah, but still.
Yeah.
0 points.
That's terrible. And then the Eagles, they need to do everything. Coach, general manager, defense, offense, they need to just start over. They just go. I think they're gonna beat Cleveland on Sunday. I think they go to Cleveland. I think they go to Cleveland.
Is the game in Cleveland?
It's in Cleveland.
Is actually why?
But you gotta remember, these are the type of games Carson do show up. Road games, need a big win. We see it in the beat Green Bay last year, went beat Buffalo last year. So these are the games Carson show up and win.
The thing that I want to take away from the Browns, awful as they are, they actually have a decent defense though. And what the Eagles' problem been this year has been protecting Carson. And they have the perfect front four to get to Carson. And I think even though it is in Cleveland and they just got Mac Wilson back and he's getting hit. I just think it's a bad stretch for the Eagles right now. So it's you're going into Cleveland, it's going to be cold. It's that time of year, it's going to be cold. And Myles Garrett is playing at a godly level. And I think that he's going to affect that game completely, and that's going to be Carson so uncomfortable, which will allow Sheldon Rankins and all that to get to work.
I want to ask y'all, because I haven't watched the Eagles much. I know y'all have. How good is their run defense? Because
it's pitiful. All right, boom. Put it like this, right? Of every unit in the whole league, I literally think that the Eagles linebackers are the worst.
I mean, they are
simple coverage.
It's
simple
ridiculous.
cover 3, simple man coverage.
And I thought it was just Nathan Gary.
He's
going.
That's the whole unit.
I literally thought it was just Nathan Gary that was the problem. It is everybody.
But what I will say about the East is I think it's a really bad year. You know what I mean? We're so used. I wouldn't say used to us being competitive, but from years before, lately, we've always seen the East to be so dominant. But now, as you look at them now, it's just pitiful. The Cowboys, and I'm a Cowboys fan. Sorry, the Eagles underachieving. The Giants, who are they? And then the division is so bad right now that Daniel Jones looks like the best quarterback in the division. That's sad. That is really sad when you have Carson Wentz or Alex Smith, who came off an injury, but it's they don't even play Dwayne Haskins, so it's it looks bad when Daniel Jones is the best quarterback in the division. I just think it's time for the division to something gotta happen. It gotta happen.
So you guys give any credit to the fact that a lot of the top teams, or the supposed to be better teams in the NFC East, are having a lot of injuries. Giants with Saquon, Cowboys with Dak. Is it just the NFC East is that bad, or is it that they're just having bad luck?
Even when they had Saquon, they weren't winning.
That's true. That is true.
So his impact has been much more than a couple dump balls, because he doesn't average big yards a game. He's just a big break back. So if he gets a slight ball, he shoots it, he's gone. But even with Saquon, they don't have major playmaking on the feel. Like the Eagles have all D playmaking, the Cowboys have all D playmaking, but we're on both teams that are underachieving for quarterbacks. So that one day the quarterbacks are high, one day they're low. So Carson is really low right now, Dak is out. So now you start to see that it's affecting both teams. And then the Redskins, I'm not even worried about them right now.
I mean, this is going to sound weird, but coming into the season, I really thought that the Giants would have had the pieces to possibly compete for a wild card spot.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I said that is because I thought that Saquon would have, like literally, like just his simple presence would have been able to take pressure off of Daniel Jones. Because like it's kind of like even though like he isn't putting up like those like big numbers, that's still Saquon Barkley.
Right.
You know, so
And you can see it too. But look at now, look how Wayne Gallman is starting to run now. Now look, the Giants starting to look even better. Now I will say this: it might sound terrible. The Giants might have the most upside in that division. They might have the most upside in that division.
I personally think Washington does. I do too.
Strictly because of defense.
Strictly
That front
Because they're
seven
definitely
is
doing something
ridiculous.
like San Fran did.
Exactly.
That's definitely
That front seven is crazy.
So,
As much as they suck, that front seven is like, it is what it is. Like they got 4 first rounders on the defensive line. They got 2 first rounders at linebacker. Like, and you got Ryan Kerrigan playing at all pro level. So
It's really
it is what it
the
is.
top 2 teams for years, or in the next couple of years, are going to be worse than the bottom 2 teams right now. The Eagles and Cowboys definitely will be worse than the Redskins.
Here's the thing.
Unless Dak can come back and they can figure out that defense
it's just
and
the
the coaching.
Dak is always going to keep us competitive.
That's he gonna keep y'all in the games.
But for us to really win, it has
That
to get
defense-
the defense together.
The coaching, they don't like Mike McCarthy. It's a lot going on.
And what I want to comment on with Saquon, right? I think for the Giants to be successful, I think we got to take a look at a couple of backs that he has similar traits to. They got to use him in a Dalvin Cook and Christian McCaffrey way, like because they don't have good offensive lines in Minnesota or in Carolina. So to get the best out of Saquon, you got to really probably use him more in the passing game and let that open up the run game because your offensive lines aren't built to have Saquon run the ball 25 to 30 times a game. That's not their style. So I think they'll really start finding more success if they are competent enough to realize like we got to use Saquon in ways that's going to make that team successful.
I mean, and kind of just keep the theme on the Giants here. I don't think Daniel Jones is that terrible. Like that terrible. I mean, bro, he's horrible, but not like that terrible. I mean, and by that I mean is that he'll make plays throughout the whole game. It's just that he makes turnover at the most inopportune time.
But I think the good thing for him is that his problems are very fixable. Like it's not something.
It's 2 years in.
It's his second year.
It is.
If he gets the right coach.
It's his second year in his second system, and
That's true too.
and for all the flack we gave Jason Garrett, the Cowboys never had a bad offense.
No.
Never did. So having Jason Garrett with Daniel Jones, bring it back to talent like Saquon. Darius Slayton, I think that he's real.
I think he's real.
I think that's
It's funny you
I
say
think
that because like
he's
when you say bringing in Jason Garrett with Daniel Jones, I look at how he also brought up Dak. Like I think Jason Garrett had a lot to do with Dak's progression, and now we're seeing like the final product because he had Dak for 4 years, and now we're seeing Dak for a couple of years. So like it's weird because Jason Garrett he's a better offensive coach than he is a head coach. So I think he's in a good position. I just think it's whether or not that they can bring down Daniel Jones' turnovers. So if you can bring them 2 fumbles and 2 interceptions down to like 1 pick or 1 fumble, I think you'll start to see some real progress. Because he reminds me a lot of Brett Favre, where he's going to make a lot of good plays, but he's also going to give you interceptions, just whether or not you capitalize on them.
Okay, so real quick prior to us moving on, who do we see taking that?
I'm gonna go Eagles. Eagles with 6 wins, believe it or not.
I'm just gonna say the Eagles just because I feel like these other teams they lost too many close games, and it's gonna be not that it's too late to pick it back up, but I'd have to look at their schedules and see how their season finishes. But I feel like the Eagles are gonna get a couple big ones that they need, and it's gonna be too hard for those other teams.
Those other teams can't beat anybody outside of the division at all. That's just.
And now kind of just to flip and go on the opposite side of
All the way across the country.
well, flipping on both that country and literally just the state of play, the NFC West is going to start to shape itself out. You know, these next few weeks actually start tomorrow with the Cardinals and the Seahawks. I personally see the Cardinals possibly running the table to finish their season. They play at Seattle, versus the Patriots, versus the Rams, at the Giants, versus Philly, versus San Fran, and at the Rams. And that Rams game, and that I think that's going to be for the time. But really just the way that they've been playing these past few weeks, and really like Kyler isn't really, taking over games, but he's making plays when he has to make plays. And that's why I'm giving the Cardinals the slight edge over Rams and the Seahawks. I was talking to KJ coming here. I see the Seahawks dropping down next to versus the Cardinals and at Philly on Monday Night Football.
I think Seattle loses 5 straight.
So I think they catch the Eagles in a way, because I do think the Eagles lose this week, right? I think they'll catch the Eagles in a way that, like, all right, we're not about to lose 3 in a row. You know what I mean? So I think they'll catch the Eagles on a bad week. I also have them losing this week because I just think the Cardinals, when you win that way, and how they won, you coming back from how they did and they went off that play, like that sends a certain momentum through the team that is going to carry over. You know what I mean? So they just played Sunday. Was it Sunday? Yeah, they just played Sunday, won the game the way they did, and then they got to play on Thursday. Like, they're on a high right now. That offense seems unstoppable in this game. Like, for much as we want to criticize him with Kingsbury, that he calls a good game when he's in rhythm. So I just think that Seattle's just running into a really bad storm. And like you got Kyler who's hot, D Hop is finding his groove, Fitz is getting his rhythm in, like Kenyon Drake, Chase Edmonds, like they're starting to really get it rolling, and that defense is starting to make plays when they need to. They're not the best defense, but they make plays when they need to. I told you I wanted to see Isaiah Simmons on the field more. He was on the field more. He made a couple tackles that was key. So in Buda Baker, it's going to be Buda Baker. I just think that team is just on a collision course at the end of the year. They meet the Rams, who I think is probably the most dangerous team in the league right now, and the most slept-on team right now. Because I didn't know they had the number 2 defense in the league, and that changes everything. So every time
They got to get that pick on something.
Jarvis Williams.
Yeah,
He's a baller.
yeah, he balling.
And then to have someone like that opposite Ramsey, like, and then having Donald in that front seven, I mean, really like that defense could possibly get scary.
Yeah, because like Jalen Ramsey is literally, he's shutting down the whole side of the field. Literally.
Yeah, he held DK Metcalf. The 30 routes that DK Metcalf, I don't think people understand how many 30 routes is. Like, there's a lot of routes for a receiver to run in the game. He's only had 2 catches and 4 targets. And one of those catches was in the zone coverage where Jalen Ramsey still made the tackle on. So it's like, if you want to count it, all right, cool, whatever. But to see how Jalen Ramsey took him out of his game is why you pay somebody like him $100 million, which I think the only corner that I see match up so well with DeAndre Hopkins was Jalen Ramsey at that time in Jacksonville. That was a real wide receiver quarterback matchup. They went head to head. And most times D-Hop won just because he had a better quarterback. But I think the Rams, I think they got hot at the right time. I think the Cardinals are getting hot at the right time. But Russ's turnovers and lack of run game is going to kill Seattle. And I just think that's where their downfall will be.
No, and that's actually crazy. You mentioned that, like, they're running, because literally, like, these past like few years, the whole talk in the league is about how the running back is dead.
Right.
The Vikings, Dalvin Cook got hurt, he came back. Now they're starting to win games. C-Mac in Carolina, they didn't really struggle while he was out, but when they needed to play, they didn't have somebody to turn to.
Make that third.
No, I have that there. I spoke on the Packers. They have A-Rod and Adams, but their most important player on the offense is Aaron
That
Jones.
offense does not flow without Aaron Jones at all.
So, I mean, losing Chris Carson like these past few weeks, like literally like has hurt.
high.
Yeah, tough that too.
Extra hard.
And like kind of for all that we've been saying for let Russ cook, he also needs someone to complement him in the run game so that everything is
Especially as bad as that defense is.
yeah.
No run game. You can't turn the ball over
And
like
that's
that.
good
That's
for
the
Seattle.
defense.
Like we say defense for Seattle, but even in their worst year, Seattle always had a decent defense that made plays. So it was like when you say Seattle's lacking defense, that means there needs to be a coaching change going on. Because you got too many studs for there to be lacking defense. You got Carlos Dunlap, you got Snap Harrison, Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright, Jamal Adams, Quandre Diggs, yeah, Shaquille Griffin playing corner, Trey Lowe, yeah, I said Bobby Wagner. I said Trey Lowe, Trey Flowers. Shout out Trey Lowe earlier, right? So now you got Trey Flowers playing corner, so it's like they have what used to be an LOB. Like they have similarities to it, and yet they struggle in defense, which is weird. But I also think that goes to show like the NFL is also realizing how important the running back is. Prime example, you could let Patty throw 50 times a game, and they'll still probably be successful. But why let him do that? And that's why you see they drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They go get Davion Bell. You see when Brady didn't have a run game, they struggled. You know what I mean? So it's like the run game brings everything in together. And I think running backs deserve their money for getting paid. Derrick Henry deserved his money for getting paid. And for a time in football where it was, oh, the running back is dead, the other more versatile players on the field, and are the game changers.
Look at the Orioles. That's the offense.
He get more targets than Mike Thomas right now.
That's the offense.
So that should tell you
He's a receiver and a running back. That's
can't go wrong with that.
Speaking of divisions and tight races, let's start over to the AFC North. It's getting really tight between two teams. I think the Patriots are going to make a push. I just wanted to know who you guys have winning the division. And then now with the push for the Patriots, do you think they spoil them coming up to the key games that will matter?
Okay, so I'm a Patriots fan, and saying this hurts. I don't think the Patriots are going to win our division this year.
No, they don't have
And
any
it hurts.
shot of doing so.
Not at all. I like the Dolphins a lot, just for the fact that they play defense and they play great defense. And I feel like they'll be able to control Buffalo. Buffalo's like a big play offense. I feel like they'll be able to contain Diggs as much as they can, because let's be real, Stephon Diggs is going to get his at the end of the day. But I feel like the Dolphins can at least do what they can to slow him down. I feel like they can make it tough for Josh Allen, and their offense is playing well. Tua is efficient. Like he's very, very efficient. He rarely gives the ball to the other team, and their offense is usually going to get points.
Yes.
When you have a team like that, it's hard to beat them. I've seen Buffalo make mistakes, costly mistakes in big games, and I feel like the next time they play Miami, it's going to be a very big game. And I like Miami to take that. I do like the Patriots to make a wild card playoff push for sure.
I think they'll make a push.
I just feel like the game against the Ravens is definitely a big confidence booster. When you beat a team like that, I think it does wonders for that team, especially coming off the losses that we just came off of, losing to Denver and who else did we get blown out by?
We just haven't got blown out by any.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, like all y'all losses have been close, but they've been
Seahawks were close game.
No, but see,
Bills
were close. But I'm saying, even after the Seattle game, I wasn't upset because I was happy with the way we played. Cam looked great, but it's like when you get to the games like against Denver and Buffalo, he's not playing well. He's not making the plays that we need to win, and we're there to win. But it was Cam that was losing us the game against Buffalo.
So you know, I was like making excuses for quarterbacks. Right? I think I'm the most critical on them, but it's like there's not a lot of weapons in New Orleans. In New England right now. Like so, for what he's working with, he's still doing a decent job. You know what I mean? I think the emergence of Jacoby Myers, somebody who he can trust, I think that helps him out. Rex Burkhead looks healthy, so he's going to be that here and there back. Him and James White. I think what Brady was saying is starting to make sense, and it's starting to see that we just need weapons. You can't make them happen, but they're competing. So it was nice to see that they beat average Lamar. I think that was good. But back to your comment about the Bills. So I think that next time they play the Dolphins, I think they're going to get smacked. And not smacked like blown out, but like physically beat up at the point of attack. Because I think that's how Brian Flores has them going. When you can have Xavier Howard and Byron Jones taking turns guarding Stephon Diggs. That's two different styles of covering. One's very physical, one technically sound. That's gonna bother him all day. And then you have that front seven, and they're starting to really like answer it out. Like they get pressured. It seems like damn near every play. Like it sounds like every time Justin Herbert dropped back, there was somebody in his face. So, and Brian Flores is a defensive mastermind. Like he held the Rams to what 7 points, 3 points that Super Bowl. So I think that team is going to take off. You told us about them 2 weeks ago. I was like, I wasn't sure. But the way Tua was playing and then how everything is coming together, I do believe that they will win the division.
I'm not ready to give the Dolphins that crown yet. Really, the game that's really going to, or the two games that are really going to put this in focus for me, when the Bills play Pittsburgh and when the Dolphins play Kansas City. Right?
The Dolphins, KC.
I think the Bills will beat Pittsburgh, right? But
They do for a long.
But if the Dolphins come out and they compete with the Chiefs, they don't have to like win it per se. But if they give Patty a hard time, then that's when I'll be ready to make that switch and be like, okay, the Dolphins can like take this crown. But now, like really, like just checking out these like schedules, like the Bills they play, the Chargers they play at San Fran, Pitt at Denver, at the Patriots versus Miami, right? I see them possibly winning out. The only game I see them tripping up is with the Patriots and Dolphins, to be honest. But if they come out versus Pittsburgh and they compete and they beat them, then I think that is theirs to lose.
So I think with that Dolphins and Chiefs game, right, I think why it would be interesting because the way you slow down the Chiefs is quite simple. It's zone coverage, right? So I think they've shown that, and I think they have the pieces to do so. So and when you can put zone coverage on Pat, it makes him think more than what he really wants to. And not that it's like a bad thing, but it slows down the offense. Like they have to find the rhythm. And then with the Bills, I think that offense, like it's just big play after big play after big play. They have sneaky good weapons and Stephon Diggs, you know what I mean? So I think it's going to get hot, you know what I mean? And it's kind of good to say, no disrespect, that the Patriots are in the conversation because you just get tired of seeing them everywhere. So,
That was interesting.
To be honest, the Patriots should really be like right.
Should.
The Patriots should be there.
Oh yeah, and I figured out the game you got dog. It was about 49.
Yeah,
You got one. Oh my god.
yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was bad.
I think that Corona really did something again. I don't know what it was, but after that, he just hasn't looked the same. Because those first couple weeks, he went to Seattle, he put up 300 yards. He looked
for a couple.
That's what I'm saying. But then he got the virus, and then, I don't know, that virus, I think that virus messed him up. I don't know what it did to him, but that virus messed him up.
Because man, I tell you, for that 3-week stretch, I did not want to watch Patriot football. The games against the Broncos and the Niners and even the Bills, I was just like, bro, this is horrible. Like it was horrible.
Look, the Raiders are rolled, but they beat the Raiders.
Yeah. That is a good one.
Anything on the Raiders.
The Raiders are my sleeper team.
Let's talk about
They
our
are
AFC wild card, man. Ravens 6-3, Browns 6-3, Raiders 6-3, Dolphins 6-3, Titans 6-3. Bills are somehow there. You know what I mean? This game, the AFC wild card.
Now,
What's the Ravens schedule?
I was just about to ask that, dude.
Because the
Do y'all think
Ravens,
there's a chance that the Ravens can miss the
I
playoffs?
think they miss the playoffs.
have the Ravens actually missing.
I think the Ravens miss the playoffs.
They play versus Tennessee at Pittsburgh. Two L's.
They gonna lose to Pittsburgh again.
See, that's a Thursday game, but that's on Thanksgiving.
They played versus Dallas. They played versus Dallas at Cleveland, versus Jacksonville, versus the Giants at Cincinnati.
I don't know about that Cleveland game though. Like we keep saying, at Cleveland. It's like you don't know what team you're going to get.
Definitely.
Well, the Ravens defense is pretty stout for the most part, especially their run defense, I would say.
Until they get exposed. Like it looks every time they've lost, it's honestly been either a bad secondary game or a bad front seven game. And it seems like whatever team is prepared for them, they expose them. Like they got exposed versus the Patriots. They can't fill a gap to save their lives. Their linebackers can't cover to save their lives. Like so, I think they are in heap of trouble, especially when you have Lamar Jackson being average. Like it is what it is. Like that team will not succeed until he takes his play to the next level. And can he outdo Big Ben? No. Like, so it's going to come down to both of them again, and Big Ben made the plays when it mattered, and Lamar won't. And
That
that's why,
Steelers game showed me a lot.
and that's why they just won't.
Steelers showed me a lot.
Just turnovers.
That and if they don't start hot, the game's over.
They
are not good at playing
They
catch up.
cannot
They
play
can't.
from
Well, they
behind.
can even trail by 3. Like, they got lucky with the Colts because Philip Rivers is garbage, but like, they can't trail by 3. They were down 10-7, and it looked like the Colts was gonna win that game 10-7. Like, there was no way I was like, no. And then Lamar got hot second half. Philip Rivers.
They literally need to come out first quarter, jump out 14-0 early, and they win. If not,
But playoff football is not that.
And that's
You're
why
not gonna
they're
jump
not-
out 14-0, and then they don't have the firepower enough to come back from deficits like that, which is why the Chiefs.
and even when you need a big drive, like you said, that Steelers game showed volume. Game on the drive, 7 plays, you ran the ball every time. And Lamar didn't even run it.
Except for the last play where
And he
Those final
fumbled.
2 plays, yeah. Like that was the most telling thing. Like, you are the former most valuable player, and your coach doesn't trust you enough to put the ball in your hand and say, go with it.
So that tells you about development too, right? So I won't put it all on him, like 'cause most of it is on you. You know what I mean? What you do in the off season reflects what you do in season. But that also tells me like where his development is, and it must not be there. You know, so if they can't trust you to throw the ball and win the game, that's a problem, right? You just had an MVP type season, which makes me seem like I don't want to say it was a fluke,
Oh no.
but it was more so of you caught the league by surprise.
And now people
Now
trying
they
to
figure
figure
you
you out.
And now you can't do nothing about it. So like you deserve your MVP, yes. But now it's like you gotta make your name.
You see, that's where Patty proved me wrong after his first year. I said, okay, people got film on you now. Let's go see if we can do it again. Did it again. So he proved he did it again. Lamar, I said, okay, let's go do it again, and he's not. And that's
And with Patty doing it again now is that third year is doing it. That
back. Yeah,
just keeps getting better.
It just keep getting better. Like you don't think players like that can just keep taking it to level, but that what makes you a great player. Like that makes you the best player in the NFL. So but with the AFC wild card, who I have making it, I had the Raiders going. I think they'll go. I had the Dolphins going, and then to me that's gonna be Dolphins or Bill. Whoever finishes second, that's finishing is getting in. And then for my third, I had the Ravens, but after like talking with you guys, like I don't know, I don't even think it'd beat them. So I'm just gonna go Titans or Browns. I'm gonna go Titans or
I
Browns.
don't see the Browns. I personally see the Raiders getting the 5 seed, the Titans getting the 6 seed. No, the Colts getting the
I got
6
to win
seed.
in the division.
So you think the Titans win the division?
Yeah, I do. And then the Dolphins taking the 7 seed actually. And really these next 3 games for Tennessee, they play at Baltimore, at Indy, versus Cleveland. I think that they win all 3, and if they win all 3, then they're in good shape to get in, whether they take the South or take the wild card. Because by beating Cleveland and the Ravens, those like that'll give them the tiebreaker over. And really Mike V. I think that he's a great head coach.
Yeah.
I mean, and
That's
then
good
even
check, son. You can
Yeah.
tell who's paying attention.
absolutely, and then even for the gripes I have with them playing in close games versus like bad teams, I think that they'll just be just good enough to be able to get some playoffs.
I think that concludes our football talk. Like I said, I think the AFC teams to me, I think are better than the NFC this year by far. I think it's going to be very competitive over there. But I do believe if you come out of the NFC, you earn it. I believe that. I just think the AFC is very top heavy. So like I don't think a lot of teams can make noise. But I do believe like if you come out of that NFC playoff, like one, you probably be banged up. You probably be ready for the Super Bowl because of who you're going to play. And then 3, you earned it. And yeah.
The NFC playoffs gonna be dogs.
It's gonna be great.
Now jumping to basketball. Besides the CP deal, which we kind of touched on before it happened, the Bucks got Drew Holiday. So I just want to open the table, see what y'all got to say. Do you think it helps them take that next step, or do you see them needing like another piece? And who would that piece need to be? Like, would it need to be someone big time, or would it be like another role player?
Like, it's no disrespect to Drew, like at all. But it's is like he's just a more efficient Chris Middleton. Like, in all seriousness, like, so I don't really think they got better. They didn't get worse. I just think that they just stayed here. You know what I mean? Because I still think there's matchup problems when they run into Miami. I still think there's going to be matchup problems if they were to run into the Sixers. You know, so I don't really see it really helping Milwaukee, but it doesn't really hurt them either. If that makes sense.
I think it helps the Bucks because it gives them that secondary playmaker off of Giannis. But Drew Holiday isn't going to make or break that team.
Yeah, not on that.
Giannis has to take that next step.
I don't think he does.
I personally don't see it either. But like literally, like the Bucks can go out and they can grab every piece that they want. But if Giannis doesn't take that next step, it really won't matter. And giving up three first round picks for him like that was so silly to me.
He may not even be here.
Yeah, exactly. So I've told y'all this like these like past few days. Like literally, like the only way to make sense of that deal is if Giannis told them straight up, "I'm going to stay if y'all trade for Drew Holiday."
I think it was. I really think it was smart for the Pels because I think everybody can sense how desperate the Bucks were. Very, very desperate. Because
I would have asked like 5 first round.
Because-
They probably gave me 4.
exactly because, like what you just said, there's not even like even the Bucks don't know if Giannis is going to stay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's their goal. They're trying to do what they can to get him to stay. Now, obviously, Drew Holiday is an upgrade from Eric Bledsoe, but I don't think it's a big enough upgrade. Like because let's be real, Eric Bledsoe got what second team on defense.
Eric Bledsoe was cool.
Like it's just that he couldn't really shoot, and you were like.
That's what it is.
Hold in the
Essentially,
finger.
they're scoring, and like you said, better playmaking. But I mean, you really got essentially not the same player, but the same player. Like, you didn't really get better. You're gonna be the same
That's
team.
why I don't think the play just didn't really help them. Like, I think when you play against teams like Miami that really sit in chairs and play defense, like that's still gonna hurt you. Like so yeah, Drew's gonna, do what he do or whatever, but then Miami has bodies to throw at you. Like Philly's gonna have bodies to throw at you. Toronto is always competitive. And it depends on what Brooklyn do though. I'll really begin to talk about Brooklyn depending on if they get James Harden or not.
See now,
So,
either way, if they don't get Harden, or if they do, I think the Nets come out the East. Because I like the roster as it is now, but if you get Harden and you're that top heavy, I don't see anybody in the East beating them. Now the team I have the best chance, depending on what Philly does, because they're starting to even out the roster a little bit. They got rid of Horford against some shooters. They might. But it really depends.
God bless, man. Oh my God. I'm sorry.
It really does depend on what Philly does. Because like we've been hearing, they might try and go after Levine. They might try and get like another third player. So we have to see how Philly looks. But like I said, as of right now, with or without Harden, the way the Nets roster is right now, if they trade him and go get Harden, either way, we're gonna see a Nets Lakers finals next year.
And I swear I'm not trying to sound like a hater, right? But the thing why I can't get to the next quite yet is simply because of Kyrie. Like, it's not to take away from his game. Like, I swear it has nothing to do with taking away from Kyrie's game. But it's like, can he give you a full... Because I think in the East this year, you got to play at least 78 games for your team to be top 4. I think they get a little bit competitive. But I think to win the finals, really, can Kyrie stay healthy throughout the year? Okay, every year, somehow, some way, it shows us that he has not. Even when they won the title, Kyrie missed 20 games. But they were okay because Bron jumped it down. So I want to give it to the Nets. I really do. But it's just, I can't quite give it yet until we actually see it happen. Because Kyrie.
If they low manage Kyrie like they did with Kawhi, then I mean, so what if you get a fourth seed, fifth seed? So what?
They aren't going to get lower than 3. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. They're not going. You're not going. It doesn't really matter because if Kyrie is healthy, I mean,
It's
if
the
you
same
want
thing
to
with like
in
the
the
Clippers
playoffs,
though. You got Spencer Dinwiddie and Karis LeVert, and
that's the
like
thing.
how they gonna go with that though?
Because
And maybe
Dinwiddie
not
Kyrie
really
are
be
better.
cool with that, just like Lou Will and Pat Bev and all them was about all the security games and getting special treatment. So it's like you really don't know the NBA because there's a lot of ego. And that team has a lot of ego. And it could be used for good. Yeah, like the two best players punks, but it's still just like there's a lot of ego in the team.
So here's what I see with the Nets. Even if they did one of those teams that will manage, so like say if they go manage Kyrie, you still got KD with that Nets roster. They're still very liable to win any game that they're playing. Even if KD low managers with Kyrie, that team, they can still go out and win the game. Even if they both low manage, that team can still be competitive in the
last
game.
year.
So,
Which is very hurt.
Exactly.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, so
I like the Nets roster. I like
And if you can have both of them healthy for the playoffs, their team,
that's true.
like the Lakers in the East, their two best players
Are better than
are just better than everybody else. So that's going to just help them so much in the East and get them through everybody else just because of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Just off those two names.
And like Kevin Durant is not missing a game if he doesn't have to, and I think it's because a lot of chatter that's going on. So like he's very sensitive as it is, and everybody's saying, "Oh, Giannis is this, and Kawhi is this, and AD." Like so, I think KD is really going to be playing and really send the message out. So I doubt he sits any game. But I think, and I don't think Kyrie will do it, but I think it would be in the best interest for Kyrie to low manage. But I just think his pride is not going to allow him to do so.
Has Kyrie played a full season?
I don't
I don't
think
think
he's
so.
once.
I think once.
So yeah, so I mean Kyrie's gonna miss his games, which if I'm the Nets, I'm fine. Like I said, they can win games if he's not playing, and that is just gonna help him further down the line. Like when your team like the Nets is constructed, you know you're gonna have a big run into the playoffs. So and that's regardless of if you low manage and your team drops to like a 4 seed. If the Nets are a 4 seed, they run into like the Pacers or something like that. I'm not worried about that.
And
So,
KD and Kyrie.
Exactly.
As long as y'all are healthy and
y'all get there.
if y'all can get there, if they can get there and their top two players are healthy, I see nobody in these leagues.
And this is we're talking about health. Like I think that changes the West landscape. Like
That's so devastating.
Clay
if
injury.
Clay has a potential torn ACL, which a lot of people think, right? That changes the landscape of that entire West. They go from being a 2 seed, I think, to maybe the 6, 7. And that makes that
Forward, because you got to remember how they looked when it was just Steph out there. Teams can't
really
really.
just be set up.
Well, I mean, they got wings now. Whether they draft.
And then, and you made a very valid point. Like they had 7 of their bench players playing against NBA starters last year. So like that team won't be completely bad, but like that is 30 points, maybe 27, 28 points from the play that you are going to need. So it's just how we can get there. So I just think that changes the West landscape. So I think top 3 it is what it's going to be, and then it's like from 4 to like 10, it's just going to be a battle.
I like Phoenix a lot.
I'm starting to feel Phoenix more.
Especially after the trade.
Yeah, after the trade. I'm not ready to put them in that tier where like they're truly like
They'll hover around that 5th, 6th seed, 4th, 5th, 6th seed. They'll hover around the middle of the
I
West.
think that 10th pick, you know, like whoever they draft 10,
That's going
I
to be
think
a
it's
big
going to
difference.
solidify their bench because like I don't think anyone's cracking the starting 5 for what they draft right now. I just don't. But whoever they get with that 6th pick, like the 10th pick, coming off like 6th, 7th, 8th man or whatever, I think it's going to determine a lot. So I think it's solid at 10th.
If I'm Phoenix, I'm really looking at getting someone like Williams, just for the fact that he's got the reason I say Williams is because he's a backup guard, and
Chris Paul is going to be there long.
Chris Paul is going to be there long. Chris Paul can mold him, he'll help him grow, and then now you have someone to pair with
Then
him
you got
for the long term.
Boy,
So it's like that's what I would do if I was Phoenix because I don't think they need any like obviously they need immediate help, but like they don't need someone to come in and like get 18, 19
The point guards is in there.
my personal favorite is Tyrese Halliburton.
He ain't lasted past 4. I don't think.
4?
You need to go that early?
I don't think he goes that early.
I think that's
Just
Yeah, but they got Obi Toppin going.
He might go for
right. So the only reason why I don't see Halliburton going that high is because like there isn't really anything special to his game.
He's just a solid player.
That's like
literally,
a need
he's
right
just
now,
he's just a solid player who is a true floor general.
Gotcha.
And then plus he also has size. To the point where he's like 6'5", and his game is like super smooth. So I mean,
Like, will he be there at 10?
that all depends on really on what the Knicks eat.
Okay.
I think y'all might trade up.
I think so.
I think y'all might trade up.
I really think it's coming. I think
But
But not that Clay injury might, because that was probably your best chances of trading up with the Warriors. But that Clay injury might have just set you back.
Well, like we said, what's the name? Don't want your pick. I'm not saying that they will give it to the Knicks, but I don't know who we would give to them in return. But like still,
It's weird. Like it's such a weird draft.
super.
Like it's such a weird draft. It's just like y'all said, break or whatever. Like it was a bad year to be mad.
Bad year, awful year.
Like, and I think the only team safe might be the Warriors because like what's around like that blue base. But like other than that, it's a bad team to be bad. Like no top 3 pick is like
That guy.
Yeah, like that guy.
Well,
I think Melo
Melo.
off that guy.
Melo,
Yes.
that's it.
Melo, yes.
Melo, that's it.
But other than that, it's like there's no one special. You know what I mean? Like Melo could win last year, probably would have been a top 10 pick. But now it's like none of these top 10 picks this year could have been top 10 pick last year. So.
I mean, outside, yeah. I mean, Anthony
Yeah,
Edwards
Anthony Edwards and James Wiseman.
Yeah, would have been there too. But other than that, I don't really see it. Like Obi Toppin probably would have dropped in last year's draft. I don't even really know that. Like all these Europeans.
We got to think too. James Wiseman only played 3 games.
Yeah, we did.
So we didn't really get to see much out of him. But what we did see out of him.
Physical specimen.
He played
Barney stretches.
Chicago State.
And I mean, he dominated Oregon. They lost, but he dominated
He did
Oregon.
dominate.
Like Oregon is a basketball powerhouse. You know,
He runs.
that's why I said.
That's what I'm saying.
But
He runs.
and that's why I really want. I don't want the Warriors to get him because then that causes problems for the Lakers. But like as a basketball fan, like if the Warriors get James Wiseman, that is perfect. Like that is
Perfect
perfect.
fit.
Like, and he's gonna have so much space to operate just from rebounding to posting up, like a little bit range here and there. So that would be the perfect fit for him. And if they get him, that's another thing. Even though Clay is hurt, I do think if they get James Wiseman, I don't think it'd be too much of a drop off. Not too much. Like we'll be 2 seed or like 4 or 5 seed if they go to James Wiseman.
See, it's crazy you just said that about the Wolves. Wolves just said they still on the phones trying to trade their pick.
I'm telling you, they don't want that pick. They don't want it.
I mean, me personally, I don't care if this draft has like the top 3 picks,
Right.
Tyrese Halliburton, Kerry Lewis, and Miles Powell. Like
Shout out Moms.
Yeah,
Definitely
shout out
Town,
Love,
man.
that's the love, man. But I mean, so I mean, kind of just to wrap up real quick, like where would y'all like to see Miles go as a basketball fan?
Like, so when you say where it go, like you mean draft wise, you mean team?
Draft, I want to see him first round. I think he deserves that.
Absolutely.
Like he definitely deserves to be the first round. Like, you cannot look at 4 years of his film and say that's not a first round type player. He just won the best shooting guard in the country.
I feel like
Therefore, something is going right. You know what I mean?
I feel like coaches are looking at like obviously it's an important thing to look at like size and age, but like
Shit don't matter.
you have to look at the product itself and like the way that he was producing. Like there's no way you could sit there and say because like earlier on Twitter I seen someone saying he should go somewhere in the 50s. There's no way you think there's 50 better prospects than Miles Powell. Like there's just absolutely
That's why I want to know what scouts
And then
look at.
honestly, it might be 2, maybe 2, and then I think that's it. Like,
How are you in player of the year talks? So, but you're and like they have you about to be the second to last pick in the NBA draft. How does that even like? I don't get.
because they're taking height and age because he stayed all 4 years. Like that's a big thing in teams now. Like,
they going off that Kevin Love should have been an all-star by now. He is trash.
Absolutely.
So it's like
That's
you
one of our
can't-
worst
That's what I
mistakes
mean.
ever.
Like even just in all sports, you can't go on height. Like if they show you something on screen to get a number 1,
eye test.
then that's got it. But you got to start using the eye test.
Eye test.
Because like we said, I don't think there's 50 better players than Miles
20.
Powell.
How tall is he?
I mean,
6'1".
See, maybe
Really?
if that's what they're saying, he's a 6'1"
Bro,
two
Chris
guard.
Paul
Maybe
is
that's what they're
5'11".
saying. But
But Chris Paul is 5'11".
look, that's why I don't get it. Bro.
I just see the way the game is going, and like I don't see how teams couldn't see as an asset. Like he's gonna he would go out there and knock down shots.
You got
Miles,
firsthand look.
if
man,
Miles
so-
was going to be a better pro than he was a college player,
I guarantee it because there's so much
it's
more
so
open.
much more wide open.
You know where I'm
that,
going, bro?
and hold up, real quick. And 2, Miles isn't going to be the guy
At home,
his
he
team.
just got to run off screen.
Bro, he would be the perfect secondary playmaker in the league now because chances are when he has the rock teams are coming at him on the closeout attacks. come out slow, that ball's going up, and it's going up. Like,
He can
right
shoot.
back,
He can
or
shoot. That's
or
his thing.
you chase him off the line. Miles is in the depth playmaker to where like he can like make those passes. I mean I've seen his like personal growth these like past 3 years firsthand.
Right.
I truly see Miles having like a 10 to 12 year like pro like career and being solid
Because
from his
so
rookie
you
year.
know who he reminds me of, and I'm not just saying this because they're cousins. Like you're gonna have a J.R. Smith kind of, like, not like early J.R. But I mean more so of like J.R.'s later career.
I see
Because of like J.R. I would say he became a spot-up shooter, but he became that reliable in the corner shooter. Like, but I think Miles beats more accurate.
I see more of like a Patty Mills type role for where
That's a great
yeah,
comparison.
exactly. Like I mean like people who watch basketball know that Patty Mills is a solid basketball player.
I remember FIBA when he was giving USA 30.
Patty can play, but that
But still, though.
but yeah, like that is that type of role I see him having in the
So I think, going back to your question, what team would I like to see him on? Philly would be a nice pick. I got like 3.
That is where
I don't like the Knicks fan.
I just don't.
Is that as a fan or basketball fan?
Both.
Both? Okay.
And I'm not even a Sixers fan, but close to home, they need shooting. He's perfect for it. Let Ben Simmons do what he do. Miles be open in the corner.
What?
Philly.
That's funny you say that because I would like to see him in LA.
Oh.
And I'm not saying that.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not saying that as a word fan. He said as a basketball fan. So I'm giving you a basketball scenario.
Okay, all right, go
So
ahead.
that second unit, when AD comes out, which we do, right? Now LeBron is on the floor, right? So who do we normally put in?
We had Kuz, Danny Green, like shooters. So when you put Miles in a situation, right, where he would be getting passes from LeBron James, they're going to be wide open. And I would like to see that. And then my third team, like, in all seriousness, like my third team, I would like to see him in Miami.
See, now I'm surprised nobody said Golden State.
I say Miami because the players develop.
Okay.
They develop players. He become a pro. Like he would. I wouldn't necessarily know his role, but then he would excel at it. And then like by his second team, third team, you can see him to really be,
Especially the way they developed Tyler Hero. You could tell in the bubble, Tyler Hero is going to become more of a playmaker kind of guard next year for the Heat. You can tell by the way they did that
They
from the
gonna pick
bubble.
and go hand in hand.
That game we scored 30 40 against Boston, it was a lot of pick and roll.
Yeah.
You go make the decision. So I think they're going to make him more of a playmaker next year, and I like that.
And the thing is, and kind of the tie from that point, Miles coming like now, Miles is a better playmaker than Tyler Hero was.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
And that's what happens when you go to like. And nothing against the one and done, but that's what happens when you have a senior in college and a freshman in college.
Because he
You
definitely-
just see certain things of that.
His game definitely, he got better all 4 years with his playmaking ability. You can tell from his freshman year to his senior year. Even from his junior year to his senior year, his playmaking got better. You can tell.
he made some like passes his senior. I mean, really, Miles' senior year, like he like should have averaged like close to like $5-6 per. But we just didn't make shots. But
That changes in
it does.
I can give you a dish on a box, and that's either gonna be a and one or a dunk. So that, like there is a difference. So I think, and that's what I think. Like you said, he's gonna be such a better pro because he's gonna be around like better players.
The game is more open.
And it's no disrespect to Seton Hall.
No, not at all.
It's just it's the NBA, and it's a select few who get to do that with pleasure. But yeah, I mean it's gonna be exciting. I think the season's gonna be exciting. I think football starting to really heat up. NBA, we get that shit in a month. Like,
College ball comes
college
back.
ball comes back. So it's,
College football playoffs about to start.
yeah,
So
so it's a really
sports
exciting
is-
time for
yeah.
sports. Once again, though, shout out Miles Powell. Good luck tonight. You got a whole city cheering for you. Congratulations. Know you. So
Proud of him, man, for real.
wherever you go, just do well. And also, just we want to shout out Adam Mays for allowing us to use the venue today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, one shout out WDI Clothing. Get your merch. Visit us at WDIClothing.com.
Follow the owner, J World 2 times on the brand.
You can follow the Instagram page too at WDI. I think they changed it to WDI.
Yeah, I think it's WDI
Empire now. Yeah.
That's all, man. So that's it for this week. We'll be back next week.
Appreciate y'all for having me.
Oh, yes, right. Yes, thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
It's crazy. We really went from Pop Warner days, recording the podcast on Wednesdays. So
9-year-old kids running up and down the field on
Facts.
Saturdays and Sundays.
And just let it be known we was broke.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Just let that be known.
I just took education more serious.
But that's it. Catch y'all next week. Y'all be easy.
All right.